Hello and welcome to the Sub1 YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video, My Robot Lab Part 11, we're going to look at the MPU 6050 service. Okay, so on my camera I've got the little MPU 6050 breakout board. This one's listed as a GY521, and it includes the MPU 6050, which is the chip right in the middle here. Just find something to use as a pointer. So just in the middle we have this small black chip, and that is our MEMS device. So MEMS is a mechanical electronic component. It includes some electronics and some mechanical components within an IC package, and these are getting to be really cool. You'll find them used a lot in mobile phones nowadays as accelerometers. So when you lift your phone up, or if you rotate your phone, it detects when it's being rotated and helps with using it for compass and navigation and the like. Okay, so this unit is a 6-axis unit. That is, it has 3 accelerometers for rotation and 3 accelerometers for linear motion in each of the 3 axes. That's X, Y, and Z. It's an I2C device, and as you can see, I've got it connected to an Arduino Nano breakout board with my Arduino Nano on here. So let's connect that up. I haven't actually started the Arduino service yet, so I'd better do that first. In this case, I am using a Nano, so I'm going to call it Nano. And it's just the Arduino service. To select the highlighted one, just press Tab, or you can click on it with your mouse. Click Start, that brings it up. We can go to Nano, and you can see it's not yet connected. If we click on this blank port, it'll actually list all the ports available. So I'm going to use COM6 because that's what I've had it on previously, and then connect. Got a green light, which is a good sign, and it's actually interrogated the board and discovered it is a Nano. Now back in part 2, I did load MRL COM onto this particular Nano. So if you're not sure how to do that, go back and have a look at that video. The Arduino Nano does support I2C, but only on bus 0, so keep that in mind. That will become relevant later. So I'm going to call this device over here the MPU device, and we're going to use the MPU 6050 service. And start that, then go down to MPU 6050. Now remember I said it's on bus 0. The address, there are only 2 addresses. I notice drop down on this select shows more, but there are only 2 addresses available for the MPU 6050. That's 68 and 69. That means you can only have 2 of these on the I2C bus. Now there are ways to work around this, and I'll cover that in a later video when a new I2C multiplexer turns up. Right, next thing we need to do is select Nano, and this automatically attaches. Now, one of the things I did notice is when it first attaches, it tries to... Oh, you've got to hit start before it works. So it downloads a heap of chunks of configuration into this chip. It's the DMP, or Digital Motion Processing software. I don't think we actually need it, but the way My Robot Lab's been set up, it will do that automatically. And once it's finished downloading, it then starts to show us the graphic, and we can see this moving. So if I rotate this, you can see that little picture is moving around as well, which is nice and cool. There are a couple of little caveats. The accelerometer does require some calibration, and that is a little more difficult to do within My Robot Lab, and will be the subject of an advanced video further on when we start to configure it and calibrated for use within our robots. Most of the time we would use these for trying to maintain the balance of a robot, or if you have just a head on a stand, so the robot knows the orientation of the head. Now the accelerometer, you'll note this one's way out of calibration. So you'll actually see I've got a 0.15, a 0.4 and a 1.38. Now this is a little confusing on these numbers, because I would be expecting, if that's in meters per second, I'd be expecting between 9 and 10 meters per second on the z-axis. So I am going to have to investigate a little bit further into this. The gyro, it's not actually rotating at the moment. As you can see, it's stationary on the desk, yet the gyro is showing -1x, +1, +2 y, +1, +2 z, flicking about a bit. The y linear acceleration is 0.04 and x is 0.15, and it's not exactly flat, so I'll allow that, but this is a tad on the low side unless it's recording it in G's, and even then it's on the high side. Orientation is what's actually driving this, and that's a calculation based off these values with a little bit of feeding from these ones, and that's why we need to look into the calibration. Okay, so if I go to my robot, maybe I can spell that right, robotlab.org, that gets us to the main web page for my robot lab. And if we go to, if I move this down so you can see what I'm going to do, if I go to menu, documentation, and we scroll down until we get to the services and matrix. So you'll find all services are listed under the matrix. Not all of them have documentation, not all are fully functional, most are. If you run into an issue when playing with the service and you can't find information in here, then by all means go to the My Robot Lab Discord server and ask in there, and someone will be able to answer your question. Okay, so we have the MPU 6050 down here, which is an accelerometer and gyro. When we come into here, you can actually see a short video demonstration of it being used. This is one was created by Greg Perry, the original creator of My Robot Lab. And you can see there is a good wiring diagram on how to connect it to a Raspberry Pi, which I have done before and works quite well. And an example bit of Python code that you can use to start it. Okay, one of the new things that have started recently is this configuration. So the config is something where we can actually save and or edit the config, and when we first start the device, it will show up in the config and be configured the way we want it. Okay, at the top of the page you'll find this JavaDoc link. This is on all of the services that we have pages for, and this will take you into the JavaDocs. JavaDocs is the most up-to-date set of documentation available. They're automatically generated every time a new version of My Robot Lab comes out. There can be quite a number of versions of My Robot Lab released each week. I believe they're up to version 1.1.1026, and I'm running 1.1.1021 as of this recording. All right, so there is a set in here There's a lot of features in here. Here we go. Set X gyro, FIFO enabled, and here's the gyro offset, so you can actually save value into that for X, Y, and there should be one here. Here it is for Z. And there should, I would have thought there'd have been something for the linear as well, but appears not. So yeah, you can also change the gain, which changes the amount of acceleration it can work with as well. Okay, that'll do for this video. If you like these videos, don't forget to click on like, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you're notified when other videos come out. It's also a form of support that helps the channel a great deal and costs you absolutely nothing. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account, and you can join my VIPs Go Lucky and Lorenz Berger, as well as my Builder Patreon Almorales45. You'll find a link in the description below. I also have a Discord channel. You can talk to either Fred or myself or one of the other members of our growing community. You'll find a link in the description below. And we'll see you in the next video.